Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course, and pleased to be joined once again by Charlie Krall of the ARCA Menard series as we get to talk about ARCA and ARCA East at Dover. How's it going?
I'm doing just great, Casey. Looking forward to a very fun weekend of racing over at the Monster Mile.
Of course, I don't know who's more excited about racing this weekend, the race fans or Miles, because he gets to eat race cars.
Well, I'm hoping he gets to eat race cars on Saturday and Sunday and not so much on Friday. But yeah, it should be a fun weekend filled with a lot of great action. They don't call them the Monster Mile for nothing. And I think we'll see some pretty intense action this weekend.
Yeah, of course. So we saw some at the fairgrounds. It looks like Sammy Smith's the one to chase for the title this year. I mean, after everything that he went through in that race, I mean, with the black flag and then coming through the field, unlapping himself, and then taking the lead and just dominating the entire thing.
Yeah, he's really on a roll right now. And don't forget, he really was in position to win at New Smyrna too. And, if not for, a little over aggressive bump and run attempt on that last lap, I think he might have a 3-race win streak working right now. But in any case, he really does look like he's going to be the driver to beat for that East Series title. And he's looking to make it 3 in a row this week.
Well, you always, when ARCA goes to a NASCAR track and, the field's always a little bit bigger. And what can we expect when we see the field? Because we're gonna have a pretty decent field for this weekend.
Yeah, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but we have been trending upwards each and every week from 2020 numbers, which is great to see. I think we'll have a fairly decent field there. Again, numbers pointed in the right direction. I think we'll see a couple of entries from quote the quote national tour. I think we'll see some drivers that we normally see competing in the ARCA Menard series will be on the entry list, and that's just going to add to it. I think it's going to be a great show, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm the lucky guy who's going to get to call all the action. It should be a good one.
Yeah, so when we look at Dover, going to that type of track, that's been a staple on the East schedule for a long, long time. What's it take to get around a place like Dover, you think?
Guts, bravery. That's why the race car drivers do it, and I don't, because I don't think I would have the guts to race at 160 miles an hour around a place like Dover International Raceway. It's a blindingly fast racetrack, and it does. It's just going to take a lot of guts. As my friend Bill Venerini once said about getting around a place like Salem Speedway, it takes intestinal fortitude, and yeah, it does. It's going to take someone who is extremely brave and doesn't mind wrestling with the monster up there.
Yeah, you look at someone like, of course, Sam's won the last 2 the East races. He won't be in the field this week, but there's going to be a lot of tough competitors out there that are going to be trying to wrestle it out there.
For sure. And, we've seen a lot of really great races there in the past. For a long time, this race was a combination race with what was then called the NASCAR Busch Series. And those Southern drivers, a lot of them were Cup drivers, like Mark Martin and Michael Waltrip and Harry Gant. They had their way with the Busch Series guys there for a few years, but it's been a standalone East Series race since 1998, and we've seen a lot of some of the drivers that are the foundation of this series. Drivers like Dale Shaw and Matt Kobaluk have won this race in the past, and recently it's been a pretty good indicator of a driver that's gonna make their way up into the trucks, the Xfinity Series or the Cup Series. We've seen guys like Eric Almirola win there. Brett Moffitt's picked up a couple of wins. Bubba Wallace has won there. Corey LaJoie, Austin Hill. I mean, we see these guys racing every weekend. And like you said a minute ago, Sam Mayer has won the last 2 there. And Sam is a guy whose future right now is really just unlimited. And I know I know Dale Earnhardt Jr. is just anxious to get Sam behind the wheel of that Xfinity car, just based on, what he's seen out of him in the past and how well that car has run this year. But yeah, it's almost a shame that Sam's not back to make it 3 in a row. I think he'd really give Sammy and the rest of these guys a run for their money.
Yeah, I think so. It's Ty Gibbs isn't Ty Gibbs won't be in the field either, but he'll be in the Xfinity race. But so it's definitely going to be good because we got the standard teams. We got of course you got Sammy Smith. Of course, who you got.
Roger Carruth will be in, Mason Diaz. Mason has had a great couple of weeks.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
And now another runner-up finish at Nashville. Mason is a guy and he finished third in this race last year. I think Mason is a guy who's poised to maybe snatch one of these and score an upset win. I know the race at Southern National is going to be big for him because his family operates that racetrack. But yeah, I think, we've only got 2 more races on the East Series schedule that are standalone races. The final 3 are going to be combination races with the ARCA Menard Series. So these drivers and these teams really looking at these next 2 as perhaps their chance to get up there and steal a win. And like like you said, they're going to really have their hands full trying to get one away from Sammy Smith. But I think if anybody can do it, Mason Diaz and that Visconti Motorsports team are right there on the hunt to do it.
I was just going to ask you about Mason. I know that he's been with the finishes that he's put up with, but I think just overall that Visconti team has really been, improving a lot over time. Tommy Baldwin's over in there, and I think he's made a really big improvement with that team.
Yeah, they had a rough year last year. Some driver turmoil there to start the season, and they kind of had a rotating cast of characters there in the seat the final few weeks of the year, but they have really good equipment. John Visconti has been around the series for a while. He and his wife own and operate that team. They picked up a win at Loudon with Brandon McReynolds back a couple of years ago. They know they can get it done. The Viscontis have a lot of energy. They're great people, very positive. They're happy to be here, but they're not just happy to be here. They want to come out and compete to win. But I love that positive attitude that they carry. And yeah, it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, of course. You also have to look at what the Reddy Jones team has done this season. With Max Gutierrez in there, of course. What do you think about what the performance of that team, as well as the Retzlaff team as well?
So I'll give a big shout out to the Rhett Jones Racing team. Mark Rhett has been around a while. He was the crew chief for Justin Lofton when he won the ARCA Menard Series championship back in 2009. Max Gutierrez, I spent a lot of time with Max on Friday down at Nashville Fairgrounds for a press event, and he's a very interesting young man. And I asked him, I said, so these cars are different than what you raced in Mexico, but what's the biggest challenge right now? Is it learning the car or learning the racetracks? And he said, oh, it's the racetracks for sure. He's never seen these racetracks before, and he's a obviously very competent race car driver. We saw him pick up a big last corner of the last lap win down there at New Smyrna. But he just has to find that comfort level with some of these racetracks. They're very different than the tracks he grew up racing on down in Mexico. And I think once he finds that comfort level, we'll see him a little bit closer to the front of the field. But right now, he's just trying to find that groove on the racetrack. And we're going to see he's going to have a real interesting lesson this weekend down at Dover. I don't think he's going to ever have experienced anything like that. But I expect he'll do just fine. And how about Parker Retzlaff? They've had a really fast race car all year long. And I think it's just a matter of time till he gets up. It's hard to believe he hasn't even had a top 5 finish yet, as strong as that car has been. I think it's just a matter of time. And, I think one of the things that Parker, we saw from him is he was really on the hammer very early in the race, both at New Smyrna and at Nashville, and those are 2 racetracks where tire wear and tire conservation is kind of a big deal. And I think he's got a lot of exuberance behind the wheel. He really does. He wants to get up there and race really hard with these guys up at the front of the field. And I think once he gets that pace, he combines it with a little bit of patience, I think he's going to really start racking up some really good finishes here. But right now he's like an untamed lion. Sometimes he's just out there running really hard. I love seeing it. I love seeing drivers who want to go to the front. But right now, I'm hoping Parker is the next driver that gets up there and collects that first career top 5, because they've been so close so often. And yeah, just based on the way that team has performed, they deserve it.
So there's kind of two new teams. I'll discuss one that's been around this season, that's running the full season. You got Daniel Dye, of course, who we know from, if you follow late model racing, he's in there full time for the Ben Kennedy team. And then this one was just announced today, a new kind of team, but a lot of people would know if they follow the Camping World Truck Series. Young's Motorsports. They've been running with Tony Brenninger for the main ARCA season, and it was just announced today that Connor Mozak is going to be running in the ARCA East race at Dover.
Yeah, that's Daniel Dye is another one of those drivers that I think is just knocking on the door. Daniel's such a fun guy too.
Yeah.
I really enjoy spending time with him, both on the racetrack and on social media. He's one of my favorite young drivers in this deal, and obviously Ben Kennedy Racing is a very high caliber operation. Same thing with Daniel. I think it's just a matter of time until we see him put it all together and come away with a win. And yeah, it's great to see Young's Motorsports involved in the ARCA Menard Series platform. I think, I really do hope, Casey, and I think this is part of the reason why I was so excited that Ilmor engine was approved for use in the truck series. I think there are some teams who have engines available to them because they already have them for their truck. You can use those engines, here in this platform as well. I think you'll start to see that more and more. I think that, obviously that's what this platform is for, is to develop drivers who are ready to go and make a run at a truck series career or an Xfinity series career. And, I think it makes a lot of sense to, if you have it, you might as well use it. And I'm very grateful for the Young's Motorsports team doing that. It's great to see. And yeah, I'm excited to see what Connor has to bring to the series. We saw him down at New Smyrna to start the season. He was very competitive each and every night, and I think he's gonna add a lot to what we got going on there at Dover.
He's talking about the World Series of Asphalt that he was involved in, and of course Sammy Smith, someone that comes from that late model world. He's 16 years old. He's kind of like from Iowa, kind of like Michael Annette, because he also plays hockey as well. So, but
Yeah.
How impressed are you by him? Because the thing is, he was running late models for KBM. That program shut down. Now he's over with the Gibbs team in the ARCA East series, and he's picking up right where Ty Gibbs left.
I don't think I could even. What can you say wrong? Negative about him? He hasn't really done anything to give anybody a reason to talk. Even when he makes mistakes in these races, he still comes out looking pretty good. So. He's obviously a very talented young man, and right now I think he's on the same type of ascendancy that we saw out of Sam Mayer in the last couple of years. So he just needs to keep doing what he's doing and get himself set to hop in a competitive ride, whatever the next level for him is going to be. And yeah, we're happy to have him.
Yeah, of course, big. Of course, we got an ARCA East race at Dover, and it's another chance for you to vote for your Reese's sweet move of the race.
Well, we're going to let you do that one.
Oh, okay. I just did it.
I don't think the broadcaster of that race quite has the pipes to do it the way you do it.
Yeah, I don't know. How fun is it to have Reese? Have a big candy company like them to partner with you guys?
That's great. It's absolutely, as someone who likes to eat candy, I'm not going to complain. And, the Reese's has always been, one of my favorites to eat. So, they want to keep me stacked in big cups. I'll take it.
Of course, you can always get your Reese's cups at your local Menards.
That's right, baby.
All right. Charlie Krall, thank you so much for coming on. And don't forget to catch the General Tire. Of course, I'm proud to carry General Tires on my car.
All right.
So don't forget to watch the General Tire 125 on Track Pass. Charlie, of course, will be on the call for that one at 5 p.m. That right? 5 p.m. on Track Pass?
On Friday. Yep, live on Track Pass. Look forward to it.
All right. Thanks, Charlie. And we'll catch up with you next week to preview the upcoming ARCA Menard Series race at one of my favorite tracks, the Action Track, Toledo Speedway.
You got it, Casey. Thanks for having me on.